But you get many people who say support WikiLeaks, but yet, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to be involved. I think we've had this discussion, Roy, in the IRC channel before. I wouldn't want to have my name anywhere near WikiLeaks. I believe that anybody that does get their name involved would end up asking for trouble. Does that make me a coward? Yes, probably. Does it make me somebody who fears for this shadowy government that might be lurking above us, watching our every move? Well, yes, it does, because at the end of the day, I'm a married man with a family, and my first concern, whilst it's very interesting, this whole WikiLeaks story and the leaks and cables that have come out of it, my first priority is to my family, and anything I can do to safeguard my own well-being, even if it is over the top or maybe even paranoid, I will do it in order to give myself peace of mind. But you see a lot of people supporting the WikiLeaks cause, and a lot of people making rash remarks towards, freedom of speech, yet they're not willing to put their name down to support that. I mean, there are some people, and I'll say that now. There's many people who support WikiLeaks who are willing to put their name forward and say, yes, I support this cause. I champion what he's doing. But there's many people that don't.
It's not really he's doing that.
Well,
yes. They're very careful here.
He's a figurehead. Rightly or wrongly, Assange is a figurehead. Whilst his involvement can be debated all day and what he does and how he does it, but he's a figurehead. When you mention the word WikiLeaks, he's the mental image I think most people would draw into their mind when mentioning the word. And I don't think he's done a lot to dispel that. He is the face of WikiLeaks, brand if you like. But yeah, like I say, I don't think that. I think a lot of people support, just like Privacy International. I think a lot of people's support is very just what the word I'm looking for is not fake, but very superficial. Is probably the best way I could say. And if people are really going to support a cause, then they should be putting their name forward and standing up to be counted, like people that do actually support the WikiLeaks cause do. So that was just my 10 pence worth, jumping in at the end of a conversation which I hadn't heard probably 95% of. Roy, was there any other issues you wanted to raise in regards to the discussion?
Well, there were a couple of issues. Actually, if you were paying attention to Identica in general over the past 2 days, and maybe it depends on the people whom I happen to follow, there were two main themes. One was the WikiLeaks.
There's a collective.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Gordon.
That's a cliffhanger. There's a collective, and then a pause.
I think there is. Anyway, what I was going to say, though, is there are two main issues. One of them is the WikiLeaks issue. That's a really big trending topic. The other one is the shootings, of course, in the United States. And lots of people actually try to correlate these two things and talk about.
What?
Go ahead. Yeah. Sure. It's connected. I think anyway. And some people were talking about how people trying to project the calls for assassinations. For example, one of the things that happened with Assange when he first came out with the cables is one of those people who used to consult for or actually advise for the Canadian Prime Minister. He called for the assassination in some sense. He said, I think his exact words was, Assange should be assassinated. Personally, that was his opinion. And now that we've seen a person being assassinated, or almost assassinated, we're not sure about the situation just yet. A person who was in Congress being shot in the United States after Palin has made a website with targets on the face, or not on the faces, but on actual states, where she wanted to kind of take people out, and she would use all kinds of phrases like "take people out" for quite a few years now, quite recklessly. Some people take it almost literally and actually do that. And therefore, people now say every person who called for the assassination of Assange or say should have been assassinated could actually justify the acts of a person who would actually do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I apologise because I've had my coughing has come back, so I apologise if I have to go silent very quickly. But I think there's people who...
Quick joke for you.
Oh, go on, Gordon. He's doing it again. He's giving us a cliffhanger. Yeah. Well, I apologise. Gordon's Gordon seems to be having a few difficulties, or we are, and we're muting out Gordon. But
yeah, I've got to say, for the last 15 or 20 minutes, both of you guys are siloning really, really bad. Yeah, right. I'm just going to have a quick joke, because
and he's gone again.
Yeah.
It feels like it's we'll blame the weather. What I was going to say was that there's always going to be people who will take things
right.
literally.
I'll try and get this in, and if it doesn't work, I'll type it and get one of you guys to say a quick joke. What do you call the collective term for WikiLeaks supporters?
Go on.
The answer is nails. They are there to be smacked down. They are there to be hammered down.
I personally quite enjoy being a supporter of the of the WikiLeaks website. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I know quite a few people who follow me, and they too are willing to put their full names behind the site. But one of the main reasons, though, I don't support what the site is doing as far as releasing the documents necessarily, or any of them. I don't actually look at specifically what they release, and I think there are certain things that are not exactly interesting in these documents. But the reason I support the defense of WikiLeaks in general is because if we don't defend these people,
I don't know if it's worth me speaking, because I think my connection's gone to hell.
Yeah, we basically you just come on for a few seconds and then it just mutes for a while. So I think that's the connection issue on some side. But we've had all kinds of issues today with people's health, and especially with this connection. And that's fine. I think it's one of the worst days in that regard, and we'll just keep it, as it is, because that's the way we usually do the show. One thing I know we want to do at the end, though, is to give some exposure to a track that one of the listeners, whose name is Marty, he produced it for the show as a sort of a promo.
Well, I mean, sorry, you were saying before Gordon had his difficulties, you were talking about the WikiLeaks. You were saying about your support of the pages and
yeah, because I used to leak documents as well. I haven't done it for over a year now. I think any major leaks, but one of the reasons it was extremely important for me to run the websites and TechBytes, and I made lots of personal sacrifices to ensure I have more time with it, is because I was going through lots of documents, a stash of documents I found of Microsoft offenses and all kinds of very, very useful things which I used to this day to prove all sorts of points, which used to be just theories and allegations, and now we actually have it as proven facts from the company itself. One of the other things I leaked before was the specifications and documents related to OXML. So in some cases, people who are inside the panels have shown me that Microsoft people were accessing these panels, and I had to leak the documents to show that. And that was exceptionally important because, they always can come up, oh, well, that's a copyright violation, it's, so-called, theft of documents, which of course you cannot do because all you do is basically copy the thing. And a person who is disgruntled is passing these things to you because he doesn't want to put his name to it, or she doesn't want to put her name to it, and they have to pass it to a person from the outside to reveal the dissatisfaction from the inside in the form of something with some proof. Some people do it with governments or militaries or companies, but in this case it's to do with standards organizations, or in some cases it's the companies themselves having to comply with the court, and the court actually makes some documents available because the case is between a state or between a representative of a state and a certain company. So I personally have suffered bullying from and I actually was defeated in a sense because I was threatened with legal action, and I had to take down things which were leaked. And if I don't defend WikiLeaks, I know that I too will be in trouble, and there will be presidents that will say, well, these people actually had to give up and they lost their case, so you might as well just be very extremely careful before you leak anything. And if you do leak something, you better, be extremely careful because I have complaints even about the words like whistleblowers. I tend not to use them in the context of websites, because if you think about the word, it actually contains the word blow in it, so it's kind of like suicide bomber or something, and there is whistle, which is kind of penalty. But of course, you don't think of the penalty necessarily as the person who is being accused. You just think of a person as some person with like a whistle and it blows or something. And it's a